There wasn't too much lore from the Imperial era, so it's kind of like a blank slate for us in terms of what we want to do. So we'll start over here, which is the residential district. So this is where players will be able to, get houses, and there'll be a lot of marketplaces, as well as a Imperial outpost over here on the left. But we'll just start with a little walk down the road.
User in your channel timed out.
I also want to make it clear that this is the V1 version of the map, so you may see some bugs and texture issues that will be updated and fixed
User left your channel.
long before. So as you can see, lots of room for players to walk around, lots of areas for them to claim. We have a bit of leveling going on as well, so you can get up here and get a better view of the residential area. Nice array of different houses, some with fences that players can claim as well if they want a more secured off area.
User left your channel. User entered your channel.
And then moving on down here, you can see the Imperial district in the distance over there, but we'll get to that in a minute. So as you can see, plenty of room for players to set up market stalls, claim houses, all that kind of. And we'll go ahead and move down the stairs here, which takes us on to some commercial. So this will be the Spaceport. The interior is not done on there yet, but you can have a quick look at the outside.
User joined your channel.
Moving on down the road, we of course have the casino. Every city RP server's got to have a decent casino. So we'll go ahead and go in here. As you can see, nice seating area here. There will be some seating booths around the outside area here as well. They're just not placed. And we've left these big open areas here so we can place our own casino entities. Like the blackjack ones and the fruit machines and that kind of stuff. So we'll go ahead and move down the road here and head into the Imperial district. I'll show you a quick look at the outside of the city as well, just so you can get a look at the outside areas. So moving on down here, this will likely be where a lot of the RP is happening. This is basically the government district, the hub, as you can see. Very open, lots of nice grand statues, that kind of stuff. Players will be able to open up marketplaces here as well, but obviously there'll be a big Imperial presence since, as you can see, there's quite a few Imperial buildings around.
User joined your channel.
We have some basic flat buildings here, so obviously players can come in here and claim different rooms and flats if they want to live in this area. On the left here, this will be the repurposed hospital. So what you'll see a lot is, obviously because it's an Imperial occupation, a lot of the buildings will look in like the local architecture, but they'll have Imperial flags because they've been claimed by the Imperials basically. Moving on over here, this will be the main government building. Once again, obviously it's kind of in the occupied art style, so we have the local architecture of the planet and then it's been imperialized.
User joined your channel.
So nice open grand hall here with the reception. Moving on in here, we have another grand hall where we'll quite often do court cases, that kind of stuff. And down the corridor we have various offices and meeting rooms. A couple lifts here that lead to the other floors with some more meeting rooms in here. We'll go ahead and go to the top floor first. Another kind of atrium area where we can put a secretary down, and then this floor is mainly offices. So as you can see, just lots of office rooms. There are some with one-way glass as well. So if people are interrogating a lower rank, you can have some higher ups or ISB agents in here watching. And we'll go ahead and head back down to the ground floor. So we'll go to the basement here, which is a Imperial brig. So there's a few brigs dotted around the map for the different branches. This will be one of the main ones for ISF, so they'll be taking a lot of criminals downstairs. Pretty standard Imperial brig. You've got your offices and an armory in there, and plenty of cells to lock the criminals up. And we'll go ahead and head back outside. So we'll move on to what we're calling the military district at the moment, which is where the army will be stationed. We'll also have the embassy here, which is where cadets will be trained, that kind of stuff. So we'll go ahead and start with the Imperial embassy, which is this bit. So when you start as an Imperial, you'll either be able to, it'll pop up on your screen with, an option to choose a spawn, and you can either spawn at the Spaceport or you can spawn at the Imperial embassy. So if you wanted to go next to the military base, you would spawn. And then we'll go ahead and move on to the MB. Lots of open room for players to build dupes. We can do parades, that kind of stuff. We'll start with this building on the left. So this is the 201st platoon bunks, which is, the Stormtrooper Corps. So downstairs we have senior NCO offices, so just open floor layout, and then in here we have the captain's office. And moving on upstairs is just a bunks layout with a armory as well, so civilians will be able to break in here and steal weapons and money and other stuff from the army. And then in here we have the Stormtrooper bunks. Moving on outside, opposite the Stormtrooper bunks, you have the engineering bunks, which is a quite similar layout. Then on this building on the right here, this is the Army Officer Corps bunks, so, the Imperial officers that you see from the films, the ones that supervise army. This is their building essentially, because they're officers, they get a nice little officers bar downstairs. And then once again, some more officers downstairs that they'll be able to call Stormtroopers into. And then we'll go ahead and head upstairs. And then upstairs they have their sleeping areas, so because they're officers, they get their own private quarter instead of sharing bunks with other troops. Moving on, we have the military med bay. There'll be two hospitals. One will be in the military base, which will be this one. Obviously, this will be for mostly army troopers only. And then there'll also be the civilian hospital, which will be in the government district over. So very, Imperial grey in here, because obviously it's a military facility. Got your medical beds, that kind of stuff. And we'll go ahead and head upstairs, and then we've just got quarantine rooms and some surgery rooms on this side.
User disconnected from your channel.
We'll move on to the last building of the military base. So we've got a hub in here. We haven't put too many props around here yet, hence why it's looking a bit empty at the moment. If we head into this right room here, we just have a indoor briefing area and then a officers meeting area here so they can discuss their plans before briefing the troops. Then if we head upstairs, we have the Grand Moff's office alongside a couple officers as well. So, he's got his office in here, meeting room here, and if he wants to, he'll be able to address all of the troops outside when they line. So we'll go ahead and move on to the final part of the military base, which is just through this little alleyway here. And this is the outdoor training area, so we have a few firing ranges, we have a kind of agility / parkour area. We have two patches here, so these trees are going to be removed and they're just going to be open areas where players can build their own trainings on the ground. And then finally we just have a military landing pad here for the engineering corps. So we'll go ahead and move on outside the military base now. Once more, this is the kind of Imperial district, so civilians that have favour with the Imperial government, or they've paid them off or whatever, they'll be able to get access to these houses outside the military base if they
joined your channel.
And any areas where we plan to expand the city in the future, we're leaving construction zones, so it kind of fits in with the server law, if you like, when we eventually expand out. So we'll go ahead and move on to the exterior of the map now. Outside we went for a kind of Onderon / jungle exterior, so lots of colourful trees, lots of jagged edges, that kind of stuff. loads of ravines like this, which obviously allows rebellion and other people to ambush Imperial patrols when they're around. We'll go ahead and go into no clip so we can get over here. Once again, lots of nice, pretty pools around, lots of areas for the civilians to hide, build interesting bases if they want to, with docks and stuff like that. We'll go ahead and move on to the Imperial compound. So this is an outpost on the exterior of the city, as you can see. So on this side we have the landing pad, so we can land lambdas here, obviously a nice big area, and then TIE fighters and transport ships can go on top of here. And then we will move into the interior of the... And here we just have a building inside the outpost. This can be used by most Imperial forces when they're claiming this outpost. And a watchtower here. And now we'll go ahead and move on to the Inquisitorius bunker. So the Inquisitorius bunker is part of the outpost here. So obviously they'll have full access to here to leave and go as they please. So we'll go ahead and head down here. So this is basically the Fortress Inquisitorius, so this is where Inquisitors will be housed. It'll mainly just be them who have access to this place. Obviously officers will be able to come down here for whatever reason when they need. So we'll go ahead and start making our way around here. So if we go down the left and then take a right turn here, we have the Inquisitorius medbay. Pretty standard medbay, fill it up with surgery rooms, that kind of stuff. Nice waiting area where we can put some plants and a security check. Then we'll go ahead and take the door opposite. In here we have some holding cells for captured Jedi and a interrogation room on the right here with some one-way glass so people can spectate when they need. We'll go ahead and head back outside. If we go behind the holocron statue here, it takes us into one of these Sith training rooms. You might actually recognize this room from Jedi Fallen Order, which is actually in the Castle Inquisitorius from there as well. This is a bit more of like a dueling training room, so we have the lava here that they can fall in, and there's a spectating area here where the higher ranks of Inquisitorius can come and spectate their Siths fight. And that's it for the ground floor, so we'll go ahead and head up to the second floor. Next up we have the Inquisitorius officer bunks, so we'll have the Lord Inquisitors, Master Inquisitors in here. They all have their own offices, as you can see. Each office is decorated the same way at the moment, but they'll obviously be able to decorate it with their own props as well. Moving on into the second room, we have basically like a holocron vault and a library. So this is the first room here. Then we go round to the left, follow the corridor around, we have the library. And just another room here where we can put more props and different artifacts from the server event. And then I believe there's 2 more rooms on this floor. We have a secondary training room for Inquisitorius, so if people are using the dueling room, they can come in here and do trainings, or they can also store additional holocrons in. And then finally, moving around, we have the Grand Inquisitor's office. The backdrop for this part is going to be like a cave system, so don't worry about the sky. He has his own little hologram of the city. Nice seating area and a nice poster on the wall. Obviously, the Grand Inquisitor will be able to decorate this how he pleases as well. And that's the Inquisitorius bunker. So we'll go ahead and head upstairs and show you the rest of the outside area. So as I said, the exterior we went for quite colourful, so it fits the Onderon look. So you'll see a lot of these nice lakes dotted around where players can come, build bases, fish, that kind of stuff. And once again, like I said, any area where we plan to do expansion is currently a construction area.
User disconnected
So
from
this
your
will be
channel.
one of the entrances to the sewer and caving system, which will run under a majority of the city and around this area. And finally, we just have some civilian houses dotted about. So, as most of you know, how City RP servers tend to go, we'll probably get a bunch of people coming out here to make drugs, and the army will come along and raid them quite often. Obviously, as you can tell, this area is not completely finished yet. We haven't done the props yet, and some small mission textures. But these will basically be like little farmsteads dotted about on the outside. And we'll move on to the northeast corner of the map, which is once again another little farmstead. So, like I said, we'll have some props dotted around here, and civilians will be able to come and claim these houses. There'll also be a spawn point here for civilians, so civilians will be able to either spawn at the spaceport, or they can choose to spawn on the exterior of the city if they wish. And yeah, I think we've pretty much covered majority of the main areas. Like I said, not all of the interiors are set up yet, and not all of the texturing is finished. So there's going to be more to show in the coming weeks / month. But this will give you a general feel of how the overall look of the map is going to be, the kind of theme we're going for, if you like, as well. So yeah, we'll go ahead and move on to the weapon base. Let me just go find my dump.